Deep breath, you got this.
Okay. Really quick, I just wanted to say thank you to Help Outdoor Counties for asking me to be here to share my story with you guys, and for everything that they've done for me over the past year and a half. They've truly changed my life in so many ways, and with that, thank you to all of you. Your donations don't just go to fund a program, but they give people like me a second chance at life. I know that I'm truly lucky to be standing here today. Had my situation changed by even a couple of seconds, I wouldn't be here today, so I think I have a responsibility to share my story for those who weren't able to. So I always swore that I would never be one of those girls who was in a toxic relationship and lying to protect her partner and always going back and forth and saying she'll leave but never does. But I grew up with learning that control and yelling and arguing is how relationships were. I was never taught that love is healthy or safe. So when I found myself in an abusive relationship, I had no idea that I was being abused. I was a single mom of 2 little boys when I met my partner, and all I wanted was to give my sons a dad. And when I found my partner, he on paper looked like the perfect person. He had a college degree, a great family, a great job, and he told me all of the things I wanted to hear, that he would love me and love my kids, and he at first did those things. He played in the backyard with them, and he took me on dates, and everything was great. But over time, the red flags started. We would argue, and he would call me names, but again, I had no self-esteem and had no idea of what healthy love looked like, so I stayed, trying to give my sons a dad so that they could have a healthy life. But over time, things got worse. Over the next few years, the harder I fought to try to make him love me and love my kids, and the harder I tried to fix him, the worse things got. He started drinking, he started, mentally and emotionally and sometimes physically being abusive. I know what you're thinking, why wouldn't you just leave then? But at this point, my sons were attached to him. I still thought that I could fix him, and if I loved him hard enough, he would love us in return. I thought more that I would do nice things for him, like cook for him and clean for him and show him love, that maybe I would receive it back. But this didn't work. And eventually I found out I was pregnant with twins, and my heart sank. I knew that this meant I was tied forever to him. I did have hope that maybe it would be what he needed in order to stop drinking and get his anger under control and finally be the man that we needed him to be. But it just made everything so much worse. I ended up working all day, cleaning, cooking, taking care of all the kids while he drank and continued to get more verbally, emotionally, and physically abusive. Things just skyrocketed, and then I made the worst mistake. I gave up my apartment and moved into a home that was owned by his family, which meant he had complete financial control over me. He would threaten to call CPS on me and kick me out and tell CPS I had nowhere for my kids to live. And this is why women are so afraid to leave. It's situations like this where they control you and manipulate you. So I felt trapped and stuck. At this point, my older sons wouldn't even let them play inside. They had to play in our basement or play outside. He didn't want them anywhere near him. Things just got violent, and over 4 years, I just gave him everything I had and was depleted as a person. I was literally killing myself from the inside out, trying to fix this broken family that we had created. So what you don't see is the top picture is the day before he tried to end my life. This was during the peak moments of an abusive relationship where I look happy and healthy and everything was okay. I spent so much time and energy trying to convince the world that he was this fantastic father, that he was an amazing person. I would have given everything so nobody found out how he was behind closed doors. The bottom picture is what I looked like anytime you would come to our home, just crying all the time, exhausted, broken, completely destroyed as a human being. And then one day I finally just had enough, and I threw my hands up to God or the universe or some higher power and said, I can't do this anymore. I've given everything I have. Just somebody please take this out of my hands. I need help. And that was the day that everything changed. He was probably drunker than I had ever seen him, and he had been passed out for several hours. And when he woke up, I had our twins in our room to keep them shielded from him, seeing him how he was. Our twins at this point were about 1.5 years. He had picked me up out of bed by my throat and thrown me back onto our sleeping children. This night, he strangled me 3 different times. The second time, I was holding our 2-year-old son. And the third time, he had me pinned on our kitchen floor. And as I was blacking out because I couldn't breathe and I could hear my son screaming next to me, I was convinced I wasn't leaving that room. I knew that my son was going to watch me die on that floor. But I made a promise with the universe that if I was able to make it out of that room, that I would never let someone treat me or my kids like this again, and that I would do something with my life, that I would make a difference, that I would change something. Just please don't let me die in that room. Somehow, I don't know when, I don't remember it, but eventually he was across the room, and he had taken my phone from me so I couldn't call for help throughout that whole ordeal. But he threw my phone back at me. I scooped up my baby, I called for help, and it was over. While we were waiting for the cops to come, he sat and mocked me after trying to end my life. He literally made fun of me for crying. The cop left me a brochure for Help County. I honestly had no idea what it was. I had heard of it, but I didn't know what resources they provided or what they could do. So when I walked through those doors, I had no idea what I was looking for. I just knew that I had no friends, I had no family, I had been isolated from everyone in my life at this point. I just knew I needed help. I still had bruises on my neck, I still had bruises all over my body. I was just a shell of a person, just completely broken. But I met my advocate, Kaylee, and she took me in with open arms and let me know that everything was okay. She made sure I understood what had just happened to me. She made sure that I felt safe and that I had everything I needed. They gave me diapers and wipes, and my twins left with toys, and she even helped me carry everything out to my car. And I left feeling seen and feeling like a human being for the first time in years. I never had to go to court by myself. There was always somebody with me. You can go to the next slide. I never had to go to court alone, which there was a lot of court between our family custody things and his domestic violence charges. There was a lot of court. And there was always an advocate with me. They made sure that I gave my kids a Christmas that I never would have been able to give them. My whole life had just shattered. I didn't have a home or barely a job or anything, so my kids got presents and I got, gift cards for Walmart and gas and things that I wouldn't have been able to have had it not been for Door County. Another thing that was really important to me in this is that their dad didn't get prison because that doesn't help abusers. What they need is education, and they need to learn how to fix whatever problems they have going on to end what they're doing that's being abusive, the anger and the alcoholism and all of the other problems. So I was able to work with the DA and come up with a plea deal that ended up working with Help Door County and their DBIP program, so he was able to get education versus just being punished for what he did to me, and that was more justice than I could have asked for. They also have a visitation program, so my twins were able to safely visit their dad at Help Door County and incorporate back into his life so that they could start having that relationship again in a healthy and safe way. These are just us after everything happened. The reality of it is there's trauma and PTSD both for me and my kids, and even for him and his family, that's going to last forever. This wasn't just a one-time event. We have ongoing court processes. We have, things that we're gonna live with forever. And without a support system, that's nearly impossible. I don't have family. I don't have a lot of friends, so I really relied on Help Door County. They got me through so much, and I don't know what I would have done without them. And that's why this program is so important. So now, today, I have slowly started to find myself again, and I have found a voice for the first time in my life. I became a certified trauma-informed coach after all of this, and now I create online. I have my own online course to help other people heal through trauma. I have educational videos on YouTube and TikTok, as well as a podcast. So I also just created a community on a website called School for everybody who has gone through trauma to kind of gather in one place, and I educate on there as well. So I took everything that I went through and I made the foundation of who I'm becoming now out of it. So to think that at one point I was just broken, scared, didn't know what way to look or where to go, and now I'm here like thriving and doing all of these amazing things. This organization gave me the power to find who I'm meant to be and step into my purpose, and more importantly, it gave my kids their mom. At one point, I did not think that they would ever have her. When you support this program, you're not just donating, but you're helping kids find safety, you're helping women find their voice, and you're helping us discover our worth. At one point, I thought my life was over, and because of help of Door County, I am doing better than I ever thought I would. So for every woman that's going to walk through those doors, thank you, and please keep believing in us. Your support turns strength into freedom. Thank you.